That's what a lot of folks don't understand about dog breeding is they think it's just very, very simple. If you do A and B, you're going to get C result. And Mother Nature has a way of kind of humbling you. It never quite works out that way. I mean, most people that have bred dogs have lost individual puppies. We lost not only a whole litter of puppies, but the mom as well. And if you do this long enough, you have those kind of heartbreaking stories. And again, folks that are either new to it or think they want to get into it, think it's just all fun and games. You get to have all these cute little puppies and they run around and you sell them for millions of dollars. And it doesn't work out though.
No, it don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to NWA Connie Corsos podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
All right. Welcome back to another show, NWA Connie Corsos. We talk everything dogs from men and women all over the world. Today, we got Chris Reed here. Glad to have you, sir.
Glad to be here.
Chris is a giant Schnauzer guy, and this will be our second person that talks about the giant Schnauzer. So I'm looking forward to this. Chris, most people find this dog through other giant breeds, somewhere or another. When did you discover? When did you get into this breed?
So we got our first giant in 1991.
Okay.
And actually prior to that, we had a mixed breed that we did a lot of obedience training with, but at the time you couldn't show mixed breeds in AKC obedience events. And my wife had always wanted a giant Schnauzer. And so we decided that would be our first purebred dog that we got. And we got one and did a lot of things in obedience with that first one. So it's been 35 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So this dog, it comes from the Bavarian Alps. Just give us a little bit of just a little brief history on it.
Yeah. So just a little bit of background. So I think most folks know Schnauzers come in three sizes: the mini, the standard, and the giant. They're all from Germany, all bred with different purposes. But the giant specifically was sort of kind of an all-around farm dog. And like you mentioned, where they were was in the area of Germany, kind of south of Munich as you get into the Bavarian Alps. And so the farmers there, we're not talking big giant farms like, we have today. They were relatively small family farms. They had some cattle. They would use the giants to move the cattle to market, things like that. But they also used the giants for pretty much whatever they needed around the farm. I mean, maybe pulling a cart, guarding the property. Heck, they probably even used them for hunting, going out and retrieving birds. I mean, giants are extremely versatile in what they're able to do, and that really goes back to how they were used by the folks that developed the breed. So,
yeah. Were you active in breeding them, or did you mostly show them?
So we got our first one in 91, did a lot of obedience with them. I think we started doing Conformation dog shows with them in the late 90s, but we didn't have our first litter of giants until 2006.
Okay.
So about 15 years after we got them, we decided we'd kind of roll the dice and start breeding them. And we've done that very sporadically. I mean, we maybe have a litter of puppies every 2 or 3 years. And that's what we've done the last 20 years. So by no means a large scale breeder, but just really breeding for us to get our next dog. So.
Right. Yeah. So You didn't go in like a lot of people go in today. They come in breeding.
Oh no.
And then
It took
yeah.
it took us 15 years to get the courage to have the first litter.
Right.
And I tell a lot of folks it's traumatic in a lot of ways. It's a lot of work too, breeding dogs.
Yeah.
And what we found, it takes us a year or two to kind of forget to get over the PTSD of having the litter and be ready to do it again. So it's I don't know how some of these folks do it that have multiple litters a year. It's just so much work.
It is, and it's definitely when you're dealing with life, everything don't work out right. Seeing your female go through some things, it's just a different thing. It's tough.
That's what a lot of folks don't understand about dog breeding is they think it's just very, very simple. If you do A and B, you're going to get C result. And Mother Nature has a way of kind of humbling you. It never quite works out that way. I mean, most people that have bred dogs have lost individual puppies. We lost not only a whole litter of puppies, but the mom as well.
Wow.
And if you do this long enough, you have those kind of heartbreaking stories. And again, folks that are either new to it or think they want to get into it, think it's just all fun and games. You get to have all these cute little puppies and they run around and you sell them for millions of dollars. And it doesn't work out though.
No, it don't. Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole different ball game.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you've been around quite a while. So there's probably a fair assessment to say that you've seen this dog evolve in ways.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. How do today's top representations of the breed, the ones winning at Westminster or top IPO trials, differ from those early Alpine dogs? Have we gained elegance at the cost of some of the original ruggedness?
That's a good question. So I think if anything over time, and I'll just talk about the conformation of the show ring first. You see trends. So if you looked at giants in the US or abroad that were being shown back in the 50s and 60s and even 70s, they looked pretty similar to what you might have seen 100 years before, on a farm in Germany. But I think really in the 70s, 80s, even into the 90s, you started to see more of trends with lots of coat on the dog. So they would have lots of furnishings, hair on their legs, just an exaggerated amount. If anything, that trend I think has kind of shifted back the other way. So you see more and more dogs in the show ring today with proper coat and not as much, not as long of furnishings, not as elegant in a way. They're more like what they should be. Yeah. It's not quite all the way back to what it was 100 years ago, but I think from just an appearance standpoint, they look more now like what they're supposed to look than maybe say 20 years ago. Gotcha.
Every breed, I've been covering dogs 3 years. It's always something about color. So I want to ask you about the white coat.
Oh, that white's an easy one. That's the whole color topic, something that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
So white giants, you'll see, I see them on social media. As far as I know, there's no documented examples of true purebred white giants.
Okay.
You got this, this little book here. This is the original stud book published in 1923.
Hey, Chris, can you show that one more time?
Sure.
Okay.
So this little book here.
Okay.
Yeah. It lists 567 giants. This is in Germany. And those dogs were born between early 1900s and roughly 1923. 567 of them. There's a variety of colors, but there are no white ones. And just from a genetic standpoint, I don't want to get into all the color genetics unless you want to talk about that, but it would be extremely difficult to create a white giant unless you found two really, really rare black giants or pepper salt giants that had the right recessive gene that you could combine that would get you to a white. I just don't think that's possible because I don't think there was any way back in the beginning. And to get it, and I think what some of the folks have done is they've used other breeds that carry that recessive gene, which allows them ultimately to create a white colored mixed breed dog that then, over multiple generations, you could get it to look more and more like a giant, but it wasn't really accomplished the right way. So,
right. Gotcha.
Yeah. So again, I'm open if somebody has, the genetic testing that proves it's a purebred giant and it's white, that's great. But I have never seen an example of that.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm like you, kind of. Anything may be possible, but rarely. I know just covering dogs that goes on a lot. People just mixing in things and and then calling it this or that.
Yeah, exactly. So so in giants in AKC here in the U.S., you have black giants and you have pepper salt giants, and in Europe or FCI registrations, they also allow black and silver. Now, there's some other colors that can occur. Black and tan is one, fawn is another. And again, those are potential colors, but you can't show any of those in the U.S. other than black or pepper salt.
Okay. So they DQ.
They're DQ, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. As far as the texture, though, our coat type, let me say it that way. Is it a difference? Is it a preferred texture in the show ring?
There's the standard for the breed describes what the coat should be. So there's one coat. It's a double coated breed. It's got a harsh outer coat and soft undercoat.
Gotcha.
You'll see people talk about an American coat or a European coat or all these different things. Those are just kind of convenient ways to describe differences of appearance, but ultimately what it comes down to is the relative amounts of outer coat versus undercoat. And a proper coat should be both. And I sometimes tell people that, think of it like a downline jacket. You've got that outer lining that kind of protects you from water and the elements. You've got that undercoat that gives you some insulation.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And that goes back to where these dogs were developed in the Bavarian Alps. It wasn't nice and warm and sunny all the time. It was cold and wintry and rainy, and they needed a coat that would protect them from the elements. They didn't have 6 inches of furnishings on their legs, but they did have undercoat. So there's one proper coat that's described in the standard, and that's really what we should see in the show ring and the working ring, wherever. It should be the same.
Gotcha. So people often mistake the giant for the black Russian terrier. Beyond the black curls, how related are they actually?
My understanding is the giants were one of the fundamental breeds that were used in developing the BRTs. So it's like, which came first, the giants. Now, black Russian terriers are bigger, a bigger dog. The coat's different. I mean, the BRTs have much more coat on them than the giant should. But I think giants are one of the key breeds used in their development.
Okay. How different is the temperament? Would you say?
I couldn't really tell you. I don't know much about the BRTs. I mean, I think
gotcha.
they were developed almost purely as a protection type dog, as opposed to giants were kind of developed to be an all around farm dog and basically do whatever their person needed them to do. But I don't want to say that absolutely giants are more versatile than BRTs. I don't know enough about BRTs to make that statement, but I think BRTs tend to be more specific purpose bred versus giants.
Gotcha. Okay. So we always have different talks, different stereotypes when it comes to dogs for size. And in your breed, does size dictate what the dog does? Like some say the smaller ones are more the working lines. Y'all got anything, myths or anything like that?
With just within giants specifically? Okay, yeah, because again, we got 3 sizes of schnauzers. So.
Oh, we do that. Yeah.
So, but so the miniature schnauzers tend to do one thing, giant schnauzers another. But within giants, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but when the breed was first developed and the first breed standard, we were a smaller dog than you see today. So the height range for giants was 21.5 to 25.5 inches. Okay. Now, sometime in the 50s, the Germans updated their standard, and shortly thereafter, AKC, we updated ours. So the height range now is 23.5 to 27.5, so a full 2 inches taller. And if you look now at the dogs that are being shown, I guarantee most of them are towards the upper end of that height range. So there's always this kind of pressure, if you will, that kind of pushes things towards extremes, and you see that in the show ring a lot in lots of different ways. But height's one simple example of that. When you have a lineup of giants and they're all 27.5 inches tall, and one of them is 26.5. He looks small when technically he's right in the middle of the standard. So you know that's just a phenomenon you see in dog shows, that certain attributes get accentuated because judges are attracted to that, and other people breed to have that same feature, and it sort of snowballs. But as far as relationship with size and temperament or anything like that, I don't know of anything. They're all individual. Each got their own personalities and their own capabilities. So I've never really seen a correlation there.
Let me ask you, I'm gonna get back to this just in general stuff, but I want to ask you about this dog. I want you to tell me about this dog, Bayou.
Our dog Bayou. So
Bayou. Sorry.
Yeah, just we're in South Louisiana, so everything's so we bred Bayou. He was born in 2018. He was a singleton, so his mom was a dog we got from Ingebar Kennels when she was a young adult, and we bred her to another Ingebar dog actually, and had one puppy. That was Bayou. He was born in early 2018, and just because he was a singleton, he ended up being pretty spoiled. He got his way all the time. He had nobody telling him no. So he's a bit of a brat, but that also makes him good show dogs sometimes if you can harness that attitude. Right. So we started showing him, and he did pretty well. He in 2020, 2021, he won several best in shows. He did go on to win the AKC National Championship best in show, which was really a big deal to us. And then he's since retired. He did win our national specialty too the year after that for the breed national specialty. But he's since retired. He's actually laying here on the floor next to me right now, just doing nothing in his retirement. So
yeah. What's up, Bayou? What you doing down there, buddy?
I don't think he even woke up. But he's 8 years old now, so he's pretty enjoying.
Pretty active still.
Yeah, he's still pretty active when he wants to be, but he likes laying around. But he definitely perks up when he thinks something needs his attention. So
right, yeah. So did your wife mostly handle the dogs around the ring, or did y'all have handlers?
We had a handler. I mean, when we were a lot younger, she would handle a lot of them. But probably 15 years ago, we started working with a handler and his partner out of Texas, and they've handled pretty much all our giants since then. So his name Alfonso Escobedo, but he and his partner Ashley, they've shown our giants for years and done really well with them. So
right. What's the best part of Conformation showing to you?
The best part, I mean, I think it's good to see a nice lineup, whatever breed you're talking about, of dogs that represent the breed. It's the original purpose of Conformation was to evaluate breeding stock and compare how dogs meet the breed standard. But it's a lot more complicated than that now. I mean, there's people and personalities and politics, and there's lots of things that certainly factor into it. But at the base level, it's really supposed to be about evaluating the dogs and how well each of those dogs lives up to the breed standard. So,
yeah. Give your dog the best start possible. We offer proven tools, products, and supplements backed by our real-world experience and our passion for healthy dogs. So it's another popular dog that has some big wins recently. Monty.
Right.
What could you tell us about that dog?
Yeah, he's a really nice giant. Monty had, I don't know how many best in show wins. And an interesting thing about Monty, his dad, his sire, Ty, had a really, really good career too. I mean, Ty had dozens and dozens of best in show wins. He was the top dog in the U.S. one year, and his sired and produced lots and lots of really nice giants. Monty's one of them. Monty won the AKC National Championship, like Bayou did, but Monty's also won the Breed National Specialty, and he won Westminster Kennel Club last year. So he was the first giant that ever won Westminster. We've had a couple in the past that have won the working group, but as far as going on and actually winning best in show at Westminster, Monty was the first one. He's a really good representative of the breed for sure.
Man, I tell you, man, one of the hardest things about interviewing guys like you is seeing these dogs and wanting one. Man,
I got some bad ones around here that can't behave themselves. So if you want to borrow one, I'll let you.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned that's actually a challenge we have within the breed, or any breed that does a lot of winning. People see them and then, hey, I want to get one of those.
Yeah,
and they don't do enough research to really understand what the breed's all about.
Yeah.
And they just think, it's a pretty dog. Well, it's not just a pretty dog. It's 100-pound working dog that also requires a ton of grooming and upkeep on the coat. So it's almost like all the combination of things that makes it a challenge. And I couldn't tell you how many people have called about, wanting a giant Schnauzer, and you ask them what their background is or what dogs have they had before. And they may say, well, I had a miniature Schnauzer, or I had a black lab, or whatever. And it's like, no, this isn't the same thing. They're not, dogs aren't interchangeable in terms of breeds. You got to really know what you're getting into.
Especially this one, because it's called a jack of all trades. But before we go into that, let's talk about the coat. Let's talk about the maintenance of the dog. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So it takes a lot, and depends a little bit on how, we talked earlier about coat type or how much undercoat versus outer coat, but depending on how fluffy, let's just say, your giant is, it can really require a lot of work. So a lot of pet owners just end up clippering their dog, which is fine. The ones in the show ring are what they call hand stripped. So the hair on the body, the jacket's all hand stripped. But it requires that. It requires scissoring on the legs if there's furnishings, keeping them brushed out, or they get matted like any other double coated breed dog. They'll get matted, and so people get them and not really understanding what they're getting into, and then they don't. They end up having to pay a lot of money to get the dog groomed, or they learn to do it themselves, or whatever. But that's just one of the things that goes along with the breed is the grooming and the upkeep.
Right. It's also called a jack of all trades. It's a pretty miraculous dog and a powerful dog.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, man, I'm looking at a photo of one just groomed down, and you see the muscles and his structure. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But this dog is been used in protection work. How good are they in that aspect of it, whether it be sport, or do you see people do personal protection with them a lot as well?
Some people do personal protection, I guess. I mean, definitely any kind of working sports, they do well, IGP type stuff. I mean, they've been used by military. They've been used by police force. The Delaware State Police used to have giants as their working dog. That was the breed they used. This was like in the early 90s. And in fact, one of the parishes or counties around here where I live, for a while, they had a giant on their canine staff.
Right.
But one of the issues with giants doing that kind of work, one is it's not like a Mal or Shepherd or something like that. I mean, there is more upkeep on the coat. The other problem if you want to call it that, with Giants is they tend to be more one owner affiliated, so it's hard for them to transfer. It's hard for them to transfer from say one officer to another one. And I guess there's other breeds that are kind of the same way.
Yeah.
But they've definitely been used for military work, police work, that kind of thing. I mean, really going back in Germany in the 20s and 30s, they were used as police dogs. So
yeah. Even today, are we seeing them used in any other like modern capacities? Maybe like search and rescue, herding.
So definitely search and rescue. Giants do pretty well in that. Herding. There's several that live on farms that get involved with the business of running the farm. And that means maybe moving sheep or whatever place to place. They're definitely capable of that. Within AKC herding events, I mean, Giants have definitely competed there and titled and done some pretty good things. So they were bred to be able to do a little bit of everything. And so far, I hadn't found much that they're not able to do.
So when you talk about a dog like this has so much ability, I mean, I don't know from your perspective. I don't think, being that I'm a Corso breeder, I know it's not as popular as that dog. So, but I'm leading into with this. In your mind, being around this breed as long as you have, is there a difference in between working and show, or is it just people doing what they prefer to do with this dog?
That's a good question. It's kind of a yes and no question. I've always thought about it as most Giants are probably capable of doing either. And it gets back to what is the owner capable and interested in doing. So you got some people that like doing AKC conformation dog shows. You got some people that like doing rally or obedience, or other people do scent work. Some people do protection, working dog, IGP type sports. And a lot of it has to do with what that owner's interest is and what they choose to invest their time in. Now, not every puppy in a litter of Giants is going to be capable of doing everything. I mean, this is just like anything else. You've got a variety of innate abilities. But, I think a lot of them have the potential to do well in almost any sport you put them in. If they've got to have the right temperament and all, but I think it really comes down to more of a limitation of the person doing the training and time. You can't be the top dog in 10 different type events because it takes so much time and investment to be the best in that one event, if that makes any sense.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But I do think the whole working show line discussion, I mean, that's pretty typical. And you see that in lots of breeds. You name a breed, border collies, labs, whatever, you see show lines and working lines. And my personal opinion is it's both of them are probably diverging a little bit from what the breed is supposed to be. I mean, certain aspects or features get accentuated and exaggerated in the show ring. But you could say the same thing about, the ones that are working. Certain physical attributes of the dog are more successful in working sports. And so you tend to see dogs having more of those attributes, but maybe not everything that's fully, described in the breed standard. So I don't think it's healthy for any breed to sort of diverge into two different lines. But how to stop it, I don't have any answers on that. I mean, do you see the same thing in Corsos? I mean,
yeah. Well, in every breed, the hard working side and the hard show side. But one thing that always stuck out to me with certain breeders is the total dog. The balanced dog. I know a Dogo breeder that in Arkansas with me, and he believes in the total dogs, and he actually go hunt.
Okay. Yeah.
Hog hunt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he gets paid to hog clear land of pests or whatnot, and he will throw a dog in the show ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's
because
I think that's good. I wish more people with more breeds did that.
Right.
I mean, and you see that with some hunting dogs. I mean, they'll sporting group dogs. They'll be showing one week, and the next week they're out in the field.
Yeah, the field,
hunting.
Yeah.
And they have they're titled as field champions. They're titled in the show ring. That's great. Right. I mean, that's really what it should be.
Yeah, I had Michelle Testa on here, as you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was something when I talked to her about. She was like, "Well, we got both of those sides that probably could use each other instead of making, you know what I'm saying." So, yeah, man. I
mean, it's two sides of the same coin, or two sides of the same dog, if you will.
Right.
It's really you want a dog that meets the breed standard, but is also capable of doing the job that he was originally bred to do. And I think the problem with all of us sort of splitting into those two factions, it just sort of encourages that you end up with a show version and a working version. And, unfortunately in Giants, it's not as different as you see in some other breeds, but
yes, sir,
it can happen.
Right. Let me ask you this one. I want to talk about the ideal human for this dog, right?
Okay.
So, what kind of person is the wrong fit for this breed? And what traits does an ideal owner need to have to thrive with this breed?
Okay. Yeah, I think you need the ideal owner needs to be somebody that's confident, that has time for the dog. There's nothing wrong at all with a giant being part of a family. So parents and kids and giants are good family dogs, but they need training and supervision and consistency. And it's like a lot of working dogs. I think giants are pretty they're like kids in a way, is they try to play their owners off of each other. They think about doing things, and then if they can get away with it during the supervision of one parent, they'll get away with it and they'll behave perfectly around the other one. So it really comes down to what you let them get away with. And so the right owner has the ability to teach and train the dog and then be consistent. So if you don't want them on the sofa, you don't let them on the sofa. I mean, that's kind of basic dog training 101. Giants, you tell him don't get on the sofa, he gets down. The next day he gets back up there and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "Well, technically you told me not to get on it, and that was Monday, and today is Tuesday, so I'm going to try again." And then, "No, not on Tuesday." And okay, so he stops it for a while, and a month later he does it again. "Well, it's a new month. I thought I'd try." And they really test their boundaries in all kinds of ways. Eventually they accept whatever those boundaries might be, but they're like little lawyers in a way. They're always looking for a way around some rule, a loophole. Exactly. So back to a good owner, a perfect owner, is ones that don't let them get away with that, because you don't want and you got to do that when they're young, because you do not want to have an adult 100-pound giant running around that doesn't know boundaries. It's just not good for anybody.
That's right. So I saved this one kind of for last because you would know way better than a lot of people the future of the breed. Is it growing? I know y'all had some big wins last year, and the popularity thing that happens. How was that? Is it bad? Is it like too bad, like you've seen maybe in other breeds for the popularity?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I think personally, I think it's bad. If you go back about 10, 15 years, AKC puts out a list every year of the breed popularity, 1 to 200. And, a couple decades ago, a decade ago even, giants were somewhere around 80th, 90th, kind of middle of the pack. comfortable, not too popular, not rare, too rare, just kind of middle of the pack, which was a nice place to be. If you look at the trend over the last decade or so, it's been going up and up and up in terms of popularity. So I think the last number I saw from 2024, I think we were 57th most popular out of 200. So we're almost in that top quartile now.
Yeah.
And you look at the trend, and you can almost see little bumps in it. I mentioned Ty. He was a really nice giant, did a lot of winning. You see some little bumps in popularity a year or two after him. And we haven't really seen the full effect of Monty's wins last year, but we will. And again, it's not those dogs' fault. They're out doing, succeeding and being great examples of the breed. I really blame two people. I blame the folks that just see him and immediately want the dog just because of how it looks, without doing any homework, without doing any research. And the other person I blame is really us, the breeders and the people in the community, for not educating people enough about what the breed is really like. It's not just a pretty dog. There's a whole lot of working dog underneath that. And if we do a better job of educating people, which ultimately means talking people out of getting the dog that aren't ready for it, it'll help with that popularity. But right now it's kind of on this upward trend, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah. You was getting into breeder responsibility, and there's a lot of words used now. Some people think they're negative, but I don't think gatekeeping is always a negative thing. I think it has to be some kind of policing and protecting of the breeds, especially in today's time, because there's a lot of movement against people with animals in legislation. I'm seeing now that it is dog media encouraging breeders to give full rights to everybody, which is kind of that's odd to me. What can we do as breeders to make sure we to do things that what can we do to do things better, in your opinion, to keeping it breed intact?
That's another good question. I think you mentioned gatekeeping. I think it's wrong if we don't welcome new people into the breed and also encourage new people to become breeders, because all of us aren't going to be around, in some number of years. And if we don't have that next generation of folks to take our place, what happens to the breed then? So you do have to be welcoming and bring new people into these sports, but it can't be a free for all either. So I think for breeders, you need to, when you sell puppies, you need to have the right protections in place so the dog isn't bred indiscriminately or isn't bred without following the right circumstances and the right rules, if you will.
Right.
There's different mechanisms for that. I mean, AKC has something they offer, which is called limited registration. So puppies in a litter are limited registration. So that basically means if you were to breed them, their offspring can't be registered.
Right.
Okay. So that's a nice protection, but honestly, it doesn't really stop somebody from breeding a dog.
Right.
If a person has a male and a female and they decide to breed them, they're going to breed them.
You'll do it. Yeah.
So what good breeders do then is have additional restrictions or additional criteria in the contracts to go along with those puppies, that if you breed this dog without doing the right health testing or having the right plan for how you're going to place those puppies or whatever, you're going to be subject to some kind of penalty. So those financial penalties typically kind of keep people from indiscriminately breeding dogs. But ultimately, I think it goes back to breeders doing as good a job as they can screening the people that are getting the puppies in the first place. And you can avoid some of that if you just don't give puppies out to whoever wants them.
Right.
It takes a lot of work to do that.
Yeah, and then people do slip through the cracks. Like,
sure.
Yeah, they might be wanting to be breeders, and you think they'll tell you anything, and then when they get going, boy, it be willy nilly. That's
definitely true. I mean, it used to be you could talk to somebody and get a pretty good feel on what kind of owner they were going to be, and everything was going to be okay or not. People are a lot smarter now, or at least they know the answers that they think you want to hear, and they're a lot better about giving those answers early on.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no perfect system, but you know what we found is, you know, having the right stuff in the contract for the puppy that really drives home the point that you're not going to breed this dog without permission, and that doesn't mean it may never get bred. It means you need to put some titles on the dog. You need to do some health testing. If you're going to become a breeder yourself, you need to have a plan for how you're going to do it. And if that's all in place, great. We need more good breeders.
Yeah.
But if you're just trying to make a quick buck, well, that's, first of all, it's not going to work. You're not going to make a quick buck, but also that's not what we want.
Yes, exactly. Sticking on that topic, I know this is going to be an important video. These videos are like billboards that will stay up.
I don't know if that's good.
To the end of time. Yeah, it's going to be good because I'm gonna tell you why. It's going to be some person, whether it be older or younger enthusiast that's trying to learn this breed, that's going to watch this video. At the beginning of this video, you showed that book. What other resources, if they're looking to get into this breed the right way and taking their time, what do you suggest?
Yeah, so, well, not this book because it's 100 years old and it's in German and it's not much use. But if you go to the Giant Schnauzer Club of America, the parent club, they've got quite a few resources there. There's some publications, what you should know about the Giant Schnauzer. They've got a book called The Illustrated Standard, so it describes what the ideal giant should look like, and it's got pictures and all to help you. There's a list of breeders that are in the Giant Schnauzer Club. There's information on questions that a buyer should ask a breeder. And that's good, you know, no matter where you're getting, actually, no matter what breed probably, but it's a really good list of questions that you can use when you're looking at different breeders. But in any breed, the parent club's usually a good place to start.
Right.
And then you can get connected with folks that are breeders or just into certain sports in your area and kind of go from there. Another thing that we've done as a parent club, we started this program we call Giant Schnauzer University a few years ago. And it's organized kind of like a college or university. It's got different departments. So there's a grooming department, a health department, performance or events department. I mean, so we have different departments that offer classes in their area. And what the classes are just little webinars, you know, maybe 30 minutes to an hour on different topics. And those are something we make available to everybody that wants to sign up. So it's not just people that are in the Giant Schnauzer Club. It's anybody that's interested. So that's another good source of information, you know, on very, very specific topics.
Right. And you are the president of the Giant Schnauzer Club.
Yeah, currently it's a temp gig, I guess, but I'm in my my fourth year right now. So this is my last year.
That's a long temporary job.
Yeah, well, it's two 2-year terms. So the way it's set up, they're 2-year terms.
Yeah,
and they're you can have two consecutive terms.
Oh, gotcha.
So, but no, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting being president of this club, but it's good too, because you get to see a lot of things going on. Right. Try to do stuff to help the breed, and it's there's always something happening.
Oh yeah. Lot of stuff to govern. Well, we appreciate you. I wanted to say that for last.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have a couple presidents of clubs, and sometimes we don't even mention it.
I don't mind. I mean, I can't deny it. But yeah, that's something. I mean, I can't, generally I can't speak on behalf of the club. I mean, I'm just here as an individual giving you my opinions on things.
That's right.
I mean, if you had questions about the club, more factual type stuff, I'm glad to answer any of those questions.
Right.
But obviously I don't want to commingle my personal opinions with official.
Yeah. That's why I didn't want to start out with.
No, that's okay though. No, but I think in general, parent clubs, they have an important role for any breed. Some of them are really strong. Some of them probably aren't as strong as they should be, but it's an important thing. And there's all, different parent clubs for different breeds. They're different sizes. Some of them are dozens of people. Some of them are hundreds or maybe thousands of people. It just depends on the particular breed.
How many? What size is y'all's?
We just finished our membership renewal for the new year, so we're like right at 434 members, something like that. So not quite 500, which is where, it's gone up a little bit the last few years, but it's been in the 300s to 400s range for quite a while. So,
so when you talk about breed clubs, I guess it's different styles. I think I noticed some of them more. I guess it depends on the personnel. More public related, right? Some more closed off. There's just kind of different. I guess it's just the culture of whatever the breed club is. For your breed club, are y'all more like a public friendly for like letting people know about the breed and things like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to be. I mean, I think one of the, at least in my opinion, is one of the big responsibilities any breed club has is education. Educating the public about the breed, not just educating club members. Because you can have, 434 club members that are all perfectly educated and know everything about everything in the breed. But that doesn't do anything about the rest of the world. And that also is into the breed. So I think one of our big responsibilities is education to whoever wants to learn. A little statistic on breeders. If you look at all the giants that are born and are bred, in a given year, the last few years, it's somewhere around 10% of them come from breeders that are members of the club. So about 90% of the giants being born are coming from folks that aren't in the Giant Schnauzer Club.
Wow.
And that's neither, I'm not saying that's good or bad. It is what it is. But if that number surprises you, if you just go look at some other breeds, it's an even smaller percent are members of the parent club.
Right.
Now, so I think it's an important thing to realize that if you're too exclusive and you're too limited on how you connect with other people, you're just a small little piece of a big pie, and you don't have as much influence as you really could or should have.
I should have, That stat there took me aback a little bit because I had
surprises a lot of people.
I mean, because I was talking. I don't know if you know this lady, but her name is Laura Reeves. She president of the Wire Hair Porn Club.
Dog Talk podcast.
Dog Talk. Yeah, so she came on here as well, and she was talking about a stat of 8 million dogs are sold in the U.S. and only 1 million come from like ethical, like AKC breeders. I thought that was nuts.
Yeah, that's something. Those are the numbers, I've heard from AKC for years. It's on the order of millions and millions of dogs in the U.S. every year. AKC registers, it may be between 1 and 1.5 million a year, something like that. But it's a relatively small portion.
Right.
And you hear a lot of people talking about, purebred dogs or purpose-bred dogs and all the problems there, but that's not the source of a lot of these dogs. There's a whole lot of dogs coming from somewhere. Some of them are brought into the country. Some of them are bred for other reasons. But
and they pointed at us. They pointed at us like they're the problem. They're the problem. And when you look at the shelters, anybody should just go look inside there and see the ratio of what's purebred dogs too. Another thing too is we're having a lot of it depends on the breed, but the genetic mutations in breeds is we got a lot of embark testing now. Some people skeptical about it. Some people, but they're saying that like being that they're purebred dogs, we need to start looking more so outside of the breed and people are saying you probably don't hear this, but I do, and they saying that purebred dogs is a new concept, man-made construct. But I don't think that's true because purebred dogs been around a very long time. I was looking the other day, the 1800s when
further back depending on the breed. I mean, if you go back to the Egyptians and some of the sighthounds, it's thousands of years. But so it is a man-made construct. I mean, I think that is true. I mean, we selectively picked wolves to breed and eventually got to what we have today. Right. But that's over thousands of years. I don't think that necessarily means purebred dogs are less healthy or less whatever than some other dogs. Now, I do think you have, within certain breeds, there's predispositions to certain types of
yes, sir.
diseases, and that is a there is connection with the genetics of the dog. That's just the facts. But I think overall, I mean, I've heard the statement that, mixed breed dogs are just healthier in general than purebred dogs. And you see that kind of claim a lot, but I think there have been some studies that disprove that, or at least, show it's not black and white. I mean, it's.
Yeah. I would think that too, because like at some point, there has been isolation in the human race. Dogs on islands, isolated from other dogs and things like that. So there's something to think about, because there is kind of a little propaganda talk about pure breeds being less healthier than. So I think again, there's probably examples, but of certain diseases that are correlated with breed type, but I don't think it's a general situation. I mean, in giants, we're susceptible to toe cancer, squamous cell carcinoma of the toes. And they've actually found a correlation between the potential for that and a gene that's linked to the color of the breed and the intensity of the black color of the breed. So and it's not just a single gene. It's if you have multiple copies of a certain gene, you're more likely to get toe cancer. So there is a correlation that we probably created by breeding and trying to breed for that black color. But that doesn't, that's just an example of one where there is a correlation between breed type and a disease. But there's lots of them. Now, there have been cases where, people intentionally, for a purebred dog, they brought in other breeds to try to kind of recreate or save the breed. I mean, this happened with pepper salt giants after World War II. There were very, very few of them in Germany after World War II. And they actually used standard Schnauzers in a very selective breeding program that was approved by the PSK to bring them back. And I mean, if you're mixing breeds for a very specific reason, and there's a plan, and you're trying to do something specific, it may be worth discussing. But generally, purpose-bred, purebred dogs exist for a reason, whatever they were bred to do, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah, me too. Who have been some of the most influential people to you in dogs?
There's been a lot. I mean, there's a lot of good people that have been in our breed for decades. We got our first giant from a lady named Judy Boston. She's still alive. She's in Texas. And that was early 90s. Another lady named Marianne Biseglia. She had Ingebar kennels. So we talked about Ty earlier. She was his breeder. And then Ty led to Monty. Our dog Bayou, both of his parents were Ingebar dogs. So she had a lot of influence on the breed. Another lady, Enid Legree, who recently passed away, but she got her first giant probably in the early 70s and was really just a fixture in the breed for the last 50 some years. And she was somebody that not only loved the breed, but she really relished and studied the history of the breed and published a lot of information and documents. I mean, I got a book here somewhere that Enid made. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay, Just Giants, yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is giant. That was one of her things she contributed to the breed, was a 500-page book about it. So those are a few of the folks that have really left an imprint on me and my wife when it comes to the breed.
Right. Well, Chris, man, I really thank you for come sharing a lot of your knowledge and things about this magnificent breed. Thank you for your service as well, for what you have done and contributed to this breed. And again, if anybody want to contact you or get on the right track with these dogs, would you give some resources, maybe to contact the club or whatever?
Yeah, I'd first, if you want to get more information, go to the Giant Schnauzer Club of America website. It's all one big word, giantsnauzerclubofamerica.com. And, you can get resources there. You can get links to emails for all the club officers, the committees, applications for membership. There's all kinds of information available on the website. The other things on social media, if you just search for Giant Schnauzer Club of America, say on Facebook, you can get to us that way too. And we're always happy to share information about the breed. And like I mentioned earlier, there's a breeders list on that website. It has 50 some breeders, mostly here in the US. And one reason they're on that list is to answer questions. So not likely that all of them have puppies available, but they're more than willing to answer questions. So when people want to find out about the breed, I would start there, look for somebody that's close by and connect with them. And that way you can get the information you need to make a decision about the breed.
All right. Sounds good. Well, Chris.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Yes, sir. Likewise. All right. Well, we'll see you when we see you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. No problem. Bye.
Step into the realm of canine wisdom with our podcast, NWA Corsos, where we interview dog men and women from around the globe. Discover their talents and insights on breeding, training, nutrition, and the rich history of dogs. Tune in to the most underrated yet influential dog podcast on social media. Your journey into the dog world starts here.